everyone, it's Lindsay from My Crafty Plans. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. I have a long one for you today, another reflections vlog. So I am going to be reflecting on the month of March and also on Q1 as a whole in order to get ready to set my goals for the next quarter. I've been using the MakseLife goal setting toolkit, the quarterly toolkit this year, and I've just been absolutely loving it. I love the addition of having quarterly goals to help kind of separate my annual goals a little bit more. It's been really, really helpful. I'm feeling so good about my goals progress this year. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to do some reflecting with the tabletop view in my planner and in these worksheets, and then we are going to go and clean out my closet and declutter my clothes, and we are going to talk through my Q1 goals and my Q1 reflections. So if that sounds good, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so I'm ready to do some reflections, and I'm actually feeling like I want to do some handwriting instead of doing it on the iPad. I don't know, I just picked up my iPad like 3 times and was just like, I don't want to do this. But before I do that, I am just going to open up this package that I got from MakseLife, which this I bought, and it's just a little order that has some more of the quarterly toolkits. That's all I got is 2 extra quarterly toolkits. So I will eventually, I guess, need 4, like, so I would need 1 more, but I just picked up 2 for right now. I don't know. Anyway, I also have, let's get out my pages from the last one. So I've got my quarterly goals. March goals are in here. And then the rest of my stuff is actually in this little folder that is hidden. Oh, my die cuts came off. I don't know where my clip is. Interesting. All right, I'll have to fix that later. Anyway, I made this little folder when I set up the planner, and some of this is from the annual goal kit. So I actually have my word of the year and my mission statement for the year. Those are actually on my Notion dashboard, which I really like that. I haven't really pulled this out very much, but having some of the MakseLife stuff on my Notion dashboard, which I leave open on my, like, the home screen of my computer, that actually has been like really helpful in staying connected to my goals. All right, I'm gonna push this out of the side and let's take a look at what we have here. So these were the quarterly goals that I wrote at like 9 p.m. and my handwriting was so bad, so I ended up printing a new copy of them. So here's what we got. I never did the seasonal bucket list, and I'm not going to do that for winter, obviously. And I did end up doing stuff around my routines. That's still not finished, but I actually ended up doing that in my journal, not in the quarterly notebook. I do have the ideal week. I didn't use the quarterly intentions for month 1. I am going to be using that for this month. And then I didn't use any of the recap stuff, but this is what I've been like saying when I've written on my goals every week this month to catch up on this. This is what I want to do. So let me just figure this out for a second. Separated this out. These are all like the more reflections pieces of the kit. And then these are all of the more planning pieces of the kit that I didn't use. And then I've got the ones that I did use off to the side. So let's open up a new kit. I think I might even be able to get away with not buying a 4th one this year just by reusing pages. And it depends on like how much I end up using some of the reflections pages. But the only thing that I would definitely need to print another one of for Q4 or for whatever quarter would be the quarterly goals sheet, but I can just print that too. Okay, so when you open this, you get the reset checklist, quarterly intentions, quarterly goals. That's the one that I need, so I'm gonna put that off to the side. Reflections, then these monthly trackers, which I didn't use, so I still have them from last time. Then the monthly recaps, which I do wanna use, but I haven't done them yet. So that needs to go away. The ideal week, this one I did already for Q1, but I am gonna do a new one for Q2. And then the wins and highlights and gratitudes. So what I did with this and the seasonal bucket list and the yes no list. So I pulled out the seasonal bucket list and the yes no list from my first one that I didn't use. So I will keep that. And then I pulled out 1 win sheet and 1 gratitude sheet. I'm not gonna do it for each month this time, but I am gonna do it, run it through for the first quarter, so Jan, Feb, March, and I'm gonna do the quarterly reflections. So these are the pages that I don't need for today, for most of them, and then I will save those though, so that way I can use them either throughout the quarter, hopefully this time, or more going forward. And then I'm not even gonna open the 3rd one yet because I don't need that. So let's start first with reflections, and we're gonna start with March reflections. Early in the week, and there's still like almost, not quite a full week, there's still like 6 days left in the month, and I have plans to work on a couple of these last things, but I overall, you know, I have a couple of things that I'm wrapping up, but everything else is kind of done at this point, so we're good. So that's my monthly reflections. You know, just trying to spend like a couple minutes getting back to this. It's obviously super messy, and I'm not even gonna put any color on the page or anything. I really just don't care. I just wanted to get a couple of things down. Like I said before, well, I've been super not into journaling lately, but I just did want to take a couple minutes to reflect and and just get on the page a few things that are working, not working, etc. So that is that. So then next up, we're gonna take a look at the quarterly reflections here. So I'm gonna look over my quarterly goals. I'm gonna read these reflections, and then I'm gonna go back through my planner before answering any of these, and we'll actually go through my answers kind of face to face while I am cleaning up my closet, which is one of the last things on my March goals that I still need to take care of. The last thing that I'm gonna do before I move to go work in my closet is the compass assessment. This one I will grab my markers for. Let's take a look. The first thing that I need to do is fill in the previous from the beginning of the year. Now I don't take the assessment again. I'm just going to pick subjectively based on whether I think something is going better or worse than it was at the beginning of the year. So let's see. Okay. So just grabbing my numbers from personal. That's where we were. I think what I'll do is, I don't want to go too crazy, but I think I will draw that in with the color on the thing, and then I'll use the line to put my new score so that we can see the growth. All right. So is that a 7 for personal and 8 for fun and recreation? 8 for work and learning. And I don't like to do, I took the full assessment and have it like rounded out to 3 decimal places or 2 decimal places. But on this, I just pretty much go like whole number or 0.5. I definitely feel like I need that 0.5 available as an option. Because again, like a 6 is too low, but a 7 is too high for the health and wellness one. But I don't like to try and make it that complicated. It's very subjective numbers here, so. Well, I think that's actually supposed to be an 8. I swear it is impossible for me to do this without making some kind of mistake. So then for personal, I feel like this is better, but not, I don't know. Some parts of this are a lot better and some parts of this are like not better. But so I'm just gonna go 7.5. I think likewise, again, a big picture fun has been like really, really great. I do feel like I'm still having some struggles with like the more minor fun, and the weekend plans was honestly not my best work this past quarter. It wasn't horrible or anything, but it definitely was not my best work. Work, I'll go 8.5. Yeah, we got small improvements. Family, I do think things are doing well there. You know, there's still room to improve, but I do think that like things are going a lot better. Health and wellness, maybe like a little bit better. I definitely have more work to do, especially on just being consistent. Spiritual and personal growth, I feel like that's a good one too. I just feel really connected to my word of the year. The journaling thing has completely fallen apart, but I honestly, like, I'm just not even that upset about it. I just have been doing like a lot more creative stuff, and to me that, I don't know, it kind of just feels like it's filling the same bubble. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the house is going. I don't know, I'm feeling really good. Okay, so let's draw in some lines with the black here. I am feeling really, really connected to my goals, to my word of the year, to that. I just haven't really been feeling very connected to my like weekly planning process, but I'm staying on top of things thanks to the Notion stuff, which has been like a really major win for me. I would like to find something paper planning. I do love paper planning, and I would like to find something there that kind of works a little bit better than what I've got going on right now. So I will be playing around with that, but overall I'm getting stuff done, you know, and I'm just really happy with the progress that I'm making. So again, overall, obviously my scores increased. I actually don't think I had anything go down. I think everything went up. Maybe I'm just in a good mood. I think the biggest thing that contributed to this is just like, one, forcing myself to be productive, like even when I really don't want to. I've only had like a couple of days the whole quarter, really just not done anything during the day. And that was such a major problem at the end of last year. Like I had so many days where I did like literally nothing. And I was doing this not to the point where it's overwhelming, just like to the point where I'm at least accomplishing something each day. And then if I'm really, really not feeling it, I still get that downtime. I'm still being gentle with myself. But overall, you know, at least forcing myself to do something. And then the other one is just like the Notion and digital tools. That has just been such a huge game changer. Just, I think I'm gonna come back to the words, but like more routine building would be really helpful. And just, I don't know, just work on the frustration, especially just like with the kids, because I don't want to take it out on them, even when they are the cause of the frustration. Okay, and then 3 words. You know what, the first one, I'm just gonna put in my word of the year. I am just really into it. Balance. I guess balanced would make more sense, but I'm going with balance. Creative is a really good one. I have felt really creative in Q1, and that is a wonderful feeling. Things have shook out a little bit differently than I was expecting at the beginning of the year, but you know, just kind of embracing that, follow the energy. I wrote that somewhere. Just kind of working on, and that's just been kind of working lately. So balance, creative, and I have felt pretty productive, which is good. Let's go clean up some clothes and chat through some goals and reflections. All right, so it's actually the next day from when I was recording all of the writing, and I just want to show you what we're working with. I'm finally ready to do this. So this is our closet. It's huge. We love our closet. We built it custom. It does have like a really weird ceiling line, but so when you first walk in, we've got like all of this kind of extra bathroom storage because we don't have a lot of storage in the bathroom, like extra towels and sheets. And then I've got bags. There are some shoes everywhere. Then we've got one section here. This is like my long hanging section there. And then as we go in, you can see the closet, which is in absolute disaster right now. So then this is my side of the closet. We've got built-in shelves and like hanging, and then we have a bench in the back. That's my walking pad, but the bench used to be completely clear and now it's just covered in stuff. Anyway, so this is my husband's section. So my husband wears a suit to work every day. So he's got like a lot of dry cleaning stuff. That's also why there's so many hangers in here. I will be clearing those out as well. And then his stuff is not as bad, but definitely needs to be refolded. And I do have like a really big mirror that hangs on the wall there as well. All right, I'm gonna start on my husband's side because this actually seems way less daunting. I will, if I see anything like really bad, I'll pull it out for him to take a look at. But for the most part, I'm not gonna be decluttering his stuff. He does that himself. I'm mostly just gonna be refolding things, and then I will tackle my completely out of control situation on the other side of the closet afterwards. It just feels a lot easier to start with this side. He will have like a lot of trash over here because like this is just full of things from the dry cleaner, like the little tags from the dry cleaner. So I do have 2 trash bags, one for decluttering clothes and one for getting rid of trash. And we will do that. I did bring my planner in, and then I also have all of those worksheets that I was working on from the quarterly, so we can kind of go through my goals and all of my reflections and intentions while I do this, which is, again, super motivating to film myself doing this. That's why I'm doing it. I have been like trying to tackle this project for a month and just totally dreading it, which is weird because usually I really like doing like house cleanup projects like this. But this one, this is the most out of control my closet has ever been, I think. So I'm definitely kind of, yeah, I've been dreading this a lot. Anyway, I'm just going to go kind of category by category for the goals. And I'm going to use my quarterly goals, which the way that I did my goals this year, which I really love and I'm definitely going to keep going with, is I set my annual goals, and then from there I set quarterly goals, and then I haven't actually looked at my annual goals since the beginning of the year. I've been doing my monthly goals off my quarterly goals. So after this, when I'm ready to set quarterly goals again for Q2, this will be kind of the first time that I've done the goals again. I'm excited to check back in with my annual goals, but I feel like I've been making really, really good progress. So we're going to start with the personal category, and my kind of word theme was back to basics. I'm reading off my quarterly goal sheet here, and I had 4 goals: to use my planner consistently, work on building and defining routines to create a strong foundation for the year, consistently meal plan, lunch prep, and other weekly routines to make the weekdays easier, and to make fun content and post regularly. So 3 of those kind of go together, and then we can talk about the content piece separately there. So I think overall I did really well with the things in the personal category. I'm feeling much more connected to, like, much more organized this year than I was by the end of last year. I'm also feeling much more, I don't know, like I'm more on top of all of the various household stuff. Our house is for the most part pretty clean. We've taken care of some projects this year, just different things like that. Paper planning and I have been a little bit of a struggle this year, and I'm kind of working through that and how I want to handle that more on a more go forward basis. But in general, I'm feeling pretty good about planning, and particularly like all of the digital tools, which one of my goals for this year on my annual goals was like to incorporate more digital stuff. And I do feel like I've really, really done that. And it's been extremely beneficial. I just need to kind of now work on bringing back the balance to that. Meal planning, lunch prep, that's been going really well. Right now, what I've been thinking is like trying to hunt for other little tricks and things like that that might make other things on the weekdays go a little bit more smoothly. So that's another thing that I've just been thinking about. But in general, I feel like I did build a really strong base and foundation for the year. Routines are going pretty well. I've not finished the documentation process. I did kind of let that slide and let that go a little bit. I will continue to work on that, but it just became less of a priority compared to other things. And then the other piece of my goals in this category was the content piece. And I've been really inconsistent this year, honestly, like just across the board. Better than, last year, obviously, because I took a lot of time off last year, but I just have been pretty inconsistent with posting, and I would like to be a little bit better and more regular with my posting. The thing that I always struggle with is like when I have stuff made, I try and just post the maximum amount, and like I will post every single day and just like share it, and I can't wait to share stuff. But then what that means is then when I don't have as much time to work on content stuff, then I have like these really long windows, or when I get really sidetracked with editing, and I don't have a lot feel like editing, which editing is the hardest piece of all of this. That means I don't have stuff to post. So I am trying to get better about, like reducing the maximum level of posting to make things more consistent overall. And also just, kind of trying to figure out a routine for editing that makes it a little bit more fun and bearable, because I really love making content and I really love sharing it. But the editing piece is just, it's something I struggle with. So the next category is fun and recreation. I wonder if I should put like my husband's shorts on top of his jeans. My husband like never wears jeans anymore, or maybe I should just hang up his jeans. Whenever I hang them up, they always end up back not hung up, but my husband like never wears jeans. He wears those Lululemon pants on the weekends now. That's like his weekend uniform, and he's like very formulaic about what he wears. Anyway, next in the fun and recreation category, my theme was planning mode, and it was just more play dates and winter activities, and then vacation planning to do like targeted trip dates for the whole year, like block off the time in my calendar so I would know kind of what our travel situation was going to be, think about ideas and book things for the first half of the year. And then the other thing was the kids' birthday celebrations. So I'm going to start at the bottom. The kids' birthday celebrations, we're having the last party this weekend. That's our big family party for all 3 kids. If you don't know, I've got 3 kids. They are all now officially 9, 7, and 5. And all of them have their birthdays within 3 weeks of each other, or 3.5 weeks of each other. And we have a ton of family in this area. So like a ton of family and a lot of cousins. It makes it both hard and easy to do birthdays because they want, to do something with their friends, especially the older ones. But we also have a lot of family obligations, and I'm not planning like 6 different birthday parties. So what we did this year, which I think worked out really well, is we did like a little mini party / excursion for each of them with a couple of friends. So for my oldest, my daughter, I took her and a couple of friends to do like an afternoon tea. It was so cute at a tea house. And then for my youngest, we had like a birthday play date with a couple of her friends from preschool. And then And then my son and his friends, they went to Dave & Buster's and, you know, had lunch and played games and stuff. So that worked really, really well. And now the last piece we have is the family party, which we decided to wait until after all of their birthdays so that the weather would be a little bit nicer. We're having a really big party in our backyard this weekend with like all of the cousins, aunts and uncles, all of that kind of stuff. And we rented a bounce house and the weather looks super nice. So fingers crossed for that. And it should be really fun. On vacations, I am just so happy about where we're at with that right now. So I feel like we are very much in our travel era. My husband and I have actually discussed this, and we decided usually we like plan for big expenditures throughout the year, like if we're going to do renovation projects or anything like major in the home. And we actually are still thinking about buying a generator because we have some problems with power going out all of the time. And we're actually like the last house on our street that doesn't have its own generator. But other than that, we don't really have any like major construction projects we want to do. Or any other major expenditures, but we decided we really wanted to travel more with the kids this year and like really focus on that. So we've been really enjoying that so far. We're also very much into Airbnbs with the kids instead of hotels. I love it so much. So President's Day weekend, we planned this like last minute trip to Florida. We rented an Airbnb. We went down, we like saw some cousins that we have that live down there, and we mostly just like hung out at the pool at the house and had a really great time. And so we kind of decided over spring break we wanted to do something similar. So rent an Airbnb, maybe go to like a different area and maybe go somewhere new. So we looked around a lot. We actually even thought about going to the Southwest, but then we ended up inviting my husband's sister and her family to come with us. So we decided to go somewhere a little bit closer just to make it a bit easier. So we're going to Florida again, but a different part of Florida. And I'm really, really excited for this trip. We're going for a whole week. We're going with cousins. We've got like a big Airbnb. There's going to be 6 kids, 4 adults. It's going to be great. So I'm really excited for that. Those are the only trips that I have booked, but I did also do the other piece, which was to block out all of the trips for the whole year. So we have like all of the prospective timelines. Obviously, I can adjust as things come up. But yeah, we are just kind of dealing with stuff. My husband and I hopefully will be taking a solo trip, but I had an opportunity this summer come up for work to go to kind of like a very cool location. And usually I do not get to go to very cool locations for work, somewhere where we would want to bring the kids and the timing worked out. So that might be 2 trips like really close together, but we'll see if we can make it work. So I am really excited, and we've got all the dates booked. And yeah, should be like a really good travel year, mostly domestic travel. And then I think next year we're trying to plan like a big international trip. So we'll see how that goes as well. But yeah, we're just having a lot of fun with it. And it's really nice as the kids are getting older to be able to like do these kinds of experiences. We've done a really good job with play dates. Winter activities was like probably a little bit weak, but it's that season is ending now. We did the best. Well, I won't say we did the best we could, but we did it. We made it through. The weather is getting nicer again, and we can kind of go back to our weekend usual of enjoying lots of outside time. This time of year just gets so much easier to keep the kids entertained during the weekends, and we will go to playgrounds and the zoo and all kinds of fun things. So I'm not too stressed about that. The next category, work and learning. I had 4 goals in this category. It was to create this project evaluation rubric, create and update a financial tracker for 2025 for my business. If you don't know, I work freelance. In addition, not including like the channel stuff, which I also do make a little bit of money from the channel stuff, but I have a separate, completely unrelated freelance business. And then also I had put a goal to start inventorying and organizing my digital files. And then also the last one, utilize time management skills, internal deadlines for work projects, and to combat procrastination. At the beginning of the year, I had already agreed to my first big consulting project, and I thought I was going to have to start work on that right away. But what ended up happening is that project like kept getting delayed. It was still agreed on and whatever, but so I ended up having a lot of extra time in the beginning of the year that I wasn't initially inspecting, and I used that time very wisely. I got all of my systems set up for the whole year for work. I created that full project evaluation thing. I did all of the finances. I set up a bunch of stuff on the personal side as well. The whole Notion dashboard, all of that stuff. I spent a lot of time working on that, which was a really, really good call. Then eventually I did start working on that big project, and I did a really good job with that as well, staying on top of my time management and not like super procrastinating and working on that. I definitely had to step back from some other things while I was working on that project, but I didn't end up having to do like any extra like outside work hours. Like I didn't work on the weekends on it. I didn't do like any evenings or early mornings on it. So that feels like a real win for me compared to how things were going at the end of last year. That project has been successfully delivered and is over. And yeah, I'm back now. I'm working on like some smaller projects right now, but I'm back in like a slower work period, which now again, I'm trying to take advantage of and use that time to kind of work on other things. The only one on this that I didn't really do is the like inventorying digital files. I like minorly worked on this for some things that were related to the projects that I was working on. And then also I started like doing a better job for new files that I was creating, but I haven't like gone back through my older files or anything like that. And while ultimately I think that will be like a good move to do, that's a really daunting project. And I definitely was not starting that. There's other things that are higher priority than that. All right. So I just needed to take a quick break from talking, and I put everything back on the shelves. So his shelves are all done and organized except for the piece of stuff that's like over to the side there. So I do need to figure out that and maybe move some of his shoes on some of those boxes. But yeah, and just like he's got some sweaters and stuff over there. And then I am just going to take a quick run through his hangers and stuff to grab the empty hangers. I don't think there's anything hanging that like needs to be gotten rid of. But for sure, we don't need so many of these kinds of things over here. So let me take care of that. I don't know. I feel like it's weird to talk if you can't see my face, but it's like such a weird angle. Anyway, the next category is family and relationships. And my overall theme was getting situated. And I'm going to grab the trash from this. I don't want to like mess up. He's got like this whole shirt rotational system that he uses to like know whether something has been worn already and whether or not it needs to go to the dry cleaner. Well, I think this might be one of my shirts. Oh, that is definitely one of my shirts. See, I'm finding new things. But anyway, so I'm not going to mess that up for him, but I am going to take this trash, move that to my side. Family and relationships, getting situated, 3 goals in this category: get the kids settled in their new after school activities and routines, work on the kids and school day routines, and then some like school specific and appointment specific stuff that was going on with one of the kids. That one is still ongoing. We've done like a really good job staying on top of that, staying on top of all of the paperwork. More paperwork coming. That's actually going to be probably a focus, not like a focus because it doesn't take that long, but just something to be aware of, something that's definitely going to be in my Q2 goals, because we have like all of the camp paperwork is going to be due. All of the school paperwork for next year is going to be due. And my youngest daughter is going to be starting kindergarten. So she's being enrolled in public school. I already did like a ton of paperwork for that, but there's actually even more. So taking care of that as well, just kind of staying on top of all of those forms. And the reason I say staying on top of it is because like we've got our year-end, we have our annual pediatrician appointments coming up, the dentist appointments, and I need forms from all of those providers. Like I need those providers to fill out forms. So it's always good to know kind of what's coming. That way I can like make sure I have that paperwork on hand when we're going to those appointments, because a lot of providers don't charge if you bring it when you come for an appointment, but do charge you for one of those if you don't, basically. So that's what we're working with. The kids are doing well with their activities. We're already like through another set, so I need to take another look through their after school activities again. But I think we're gonna go with like a slightly lighter schedule in this kind of last bit of the school year. We've had such a busy school year. There's like a few empty slots now of things that have ended, and I don't even know if we're gonna sign up for anything else. Maybe just kind of finish up with like a slightly less chaotic school year and still keeping up with everything we do have. And then things will really start to wind down late May. My oldest daughter, her play will be at some point in May. And then after that, that will end. And we won't pick that up again until next year because, we do way less activities in the summer, but also she goes to overnight camp. So she's not doing any activities in the summer. Well, at least not any activities at home. All right, I finished up my husband's side. So I just tucked his dry cleaning in his backpack under there. We've got a laundry basket as well. I just did laundry, so like whites is the only thing that's dirty right now. And then here is his closet, and I cleaned up the side of the bench there, and we've just got some other less frequently used stuff like some bathing suits and super thick sweaters over tucked into the side. So his side is all done, and now it is time to tackle my side. All right, now the dread of my side. I actually just took a pause and ordered some poke for lunch. Decided I deserved an extra special treat. I've been craving like poke or sushi so much. Apparently the closest place to us that I usually get from closed, so I'm trying a new place, so hopefully it's good. The next category, while I start to go through this side over here, which has a lot of like de-stash stuff that I know is de-stash stuff, and then also I'm going to do my like hanging first before I tackle the drawers. But the next category is the health and wellness category, and my focus was good sleep, and I said more exercise classes and walking on the walking pad and movement, outline and update and use my AM and PM routines, and then honor bedtime was the third one. I actually think I've done such a good job at the bedtime for this year. This was such a struggle with me, kind of like the last quarter of last year. And yeah, it's been like when I say that getting more sleep is life-changing, like I'm sure you can relate to that. I feel so much better. It's not been perfect. Still have some nights there where, you know, I'm staying up a little bit too late, but it's way better than it was. Way less of those nights and going to bed earlier. Even when I do stay up a little bit late, it's not as late as it was. This pile of sweaters is stuff that I've like kind of pulled out throughout the winter as like stuff that I don't want to wear anymore. So I'm just going to grab these into a bag over here. The biggest factor in that, and I've mentioned this before, is that I've been using this app that like blocks my phone and my iPad. Well, mostly just my iPad. The phone has actually not been a really big problem for me, but blocks me from like the whole thing at night, but then during the workday from certain apps. And it's called Opal. It's free. It's fantastic. I definitely recommend if you're someone who struggles with putting the phone down. You can obviously like close out of the app, but just like that extra screen, that extra having to click out of it makes you kind of realize you're doing something maybe you shouldn't be. And that's provided like a lot of really good incentive for me to not do that. All right, I am going to keep this one blue sweater over here. It's like super oversized. I'm pretty sure it was my dad's. And I stole it from my husband. My dad gave it to my husband, and then I stole it. It's just like extra comfy cozy. I don't wear it to leave the house, but I am going to keep that one. The rest of these are trash. And then there's a bunch of bathing suits in here. I can actually see some kids' clothes in here too, so that's fun. So let's go in there. Some of my husband's bathing suits are also in here actually, and also ski clothing. Super combination of seasonal wear. Okay, kids clothing that doesn't fit kids anymore. What was I thinking? Oh, okay. But so the movement and exercise classes has been a little bit more mixed. I had some like periods where I did really, really well with it, and then I had some times when I did less well with it. Certainly it's better than it was, but I think I can do more. I do think like I'm not at my best there, so something to continue working on for sure. Got all the kids' little ski clothes here. Oh, actually, probably I should check the sizes on this. I was just thinking the last time we did this, if there's anything that belongs to my youngest here, that's obviously not going to fit anyone. Stuff like that we do like pass down throughout the kids, you know, so it's just getting rid of stuff when it becomes my like ultra youngest ones. We bought a ski suit this year. So we bought a ski suit for my old ski suit went to my son, and then my son's went to my youngest. We actually bought them all identical, bright orange ski suits. We didn't go skiing this year, but they also work for playing in the snow. And I love watching them play all together with the ski suits, and they're all like dressed identical. So cute. And then the other thing, the outline, update, and use the AM routine. So I did the full outline and update on the morning one. I didn't on the PM one, but I actually have been using both routines going pretty well. So I'm overall happy with that. Again, I kind of stopped doing I started doing all this journaling around the routine stuff. Got a dress over here. Oh, I remember what happened with this. I was trying to sell stuff at ThredUp, but ThredUp won't take like old formal clothes. And this is an old bridesmaid's dress. And I guess I didn't feel like donating it when I did that. So I just stuck it off to the side, but you know what? I'm just going to donate it now. Somebody else can have that bridesmaid's dress. I'm not wearing it. I highly doubt it even fits me because I was probably like 26 when I was in that wedding. The next one is spiritual and personal growth. And my key phrase for that, my focus was to just begin. Whenever I'm going to do I've gotten so superstitious about this, it's so unlike me, but I've been really into all of these sweatshirts lately, and whenever I'm gonna really try and force myself to do something like this closet project, I grab this one, which is MakseLife, and it says just begin, which is my favorite Maxeism, so that's why I'm wearing it today. Probably why you see it so much on the channel as well. I'll wear it to work on goal stuff. But anyway, so my 3 goals in this were to establish a journaling practice as part of my evening routine, use time blocking timers and other tools to stay productive, and then I just wrote mindset, keep it moving, and just begin. So mindset, keep it moving, just begin. I feel like I did a really good job with that. I've been really doing very productive this year, but not burning out, taking time to rest. I feel like I've got a really good handle on the flow of things right now, and it's been pretty good. So that's been really good. Likewise, time blocking timers, other tools, all of that's going really well. I haven't been super formal with it, but I also am doing it, so I'm not going to force myself to do something I don't need to do. And then the last one, which was to establish a journaling practice at the end of last year, pretty much from around Thanksgiving through kind of the beginning of January, I was so into journaling, and I was just journaling all of the time, so much, and it was going so great. I was journaling 4 nights before bed every week, at least, sometimes every night, and I was loving it, and that has completely faded. I have not touched a journal probably all March and maybe even most of February. This is the first time that I've done reflections in a while. I just have not been feeling it whatsoever. And I'm just kind of trying to follow that energy. I would like to have a little bit better of a journaling practice, but I also just don't want to force myself to journal for the sake of journaling, because that also just feels really unproductive. And I'm feeling good overall. So, I'm not really sure what to do about that. Oh, these were golf shorts that I bought for my son, not realizing that they were not the right size. And then I just kind of kept them, but I don't think we really need those. I'm not going to hold on to that until he's a teenager. And I thought maybe I would wear them, but I wouldn't. I don't really like this bathing suit. I've got other black bathing suits. I don't need to keep things that I'm not going to wear. I've got so many bathing suits because I had a bunch of I bought a bunch of bathing suits, and then I lost them, except for I didn't. I just left them at my mom's house, and then I couldn't find them, and she swore they weren't there. So I bought a bunch more bathing suits because we were going on vacation. And then, of course, when we started going back to my mom's, my mom lives at the beach full time, so we go over the summer every weekend. And when I went back, of course, I found them and was okay, so now I have twice as many bathing suits as I definitely need. So I will keep the ones that I wear, but I don't need to keep bathing suits that I'm not going to wear. So I got a pile of my husband's bathing suits, 1 sweatshirt of his for some reason, some ski stuff, and then a bunch of my bathing suits and cover-ups and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put those back. I think I'll put this sweater away too with the ski stuff, because I'm not gonna wear this. It's too hot now. That's peak winter. I'm sitting in the house freezing. So I don't need that right now, but I will. So I'll put that in the back, and then I'll get my bathing suits kind of shoved back there too. We'll definitely need those soon. And then the only other thing over here is this kind of sweater set. I wore this in a recent video, actually. Maybe even in my last vlog. It's just this set that I bought from TikTok. It's really cute. It's just huge, and it takes up so much space, and I didn't have space for it on the other side of my closet. All right, so then I'm gonna put my husband's stuff away, and look at this progress that we are making. All right, let's go on over to my hanging section. I just got a Stitch Fix that I tried on this weekend, so I have a couple things to hang up that are new, and I'm gonna go through all this stuff. Should probably run through my jeans. Yeah, I feel like jeans are another one. Bathing suits hard to throw out. Jeans hard to throw out. Fancy clothes hard to throw out. Ratty old t-shirts not hard to throw out. But I should do it anyways, and I will. Okay, so let's hang this up. And what am I doing? The next one in financial, we're gonna breeze through this, is the New Year setup. New Year setup, I just had 2 goals here. Year start, year end, financial routine, new trackers, move our money, yearly plan, basically all of the stuff that we always do kind of at the beginning of the year. I've spoken about this a lot, but financial is my strongest category. This predates any work that I've done on MakseLife. It's just an area that I'm really strong with. And my husband also works in finance, which is very helpful. I have a partner in this category. I don't have to manage this responsibility myself, or even like primarily by myself. I do a lot of like the day-to-day type tracking, but my husband really takes the lead on all of the kind of like long-term planning and that piece of it. I feel like this works really smoothly. We have a system between the two of us that works really well. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's kind of my financial motto. That being said, something was broken, which was that we used this website, mint.com, for financial tracking for years and years and years. It was like my favorite website, and it got bought by another company, one of like the credit monitoring companies, and they like gutted the website and got rid of all of the features that are the features why we used it. So we had to find a new system for that. We've been using Rocket Money, which is actually like a paid one. It's pretty cheap. It works pretty well, but I still wasn't like 100% happy with it. So what I did at the beginning of the year is basically built out the features that I was missing from Mint into a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet that I have actually like works really well with what we do in Rocket. And it's been going really well. That's all completely built. Again, I used that time in January really wisely to get ahead on some of this stuff while I wasn't super busy at work. Yeah, that's all going really well. So I'm feeling good about that. Then the other one was just like starting the tax prep and start on my taxes. I haven't started on my actual taxes. I'm honestly not sure why I put that on my goals there. I feel like I always put it on my Q1 goals and I say I'm going to do it in March, but I never end up doing it till April. And I don't want to file until like we try and like file like the day before tax day. So I don't need to be working on that now. I have kept all of my documents, like got all of that organized all my business finances for when I'm ready to file. So I've got like a good run on that, but I haven't done like any actual work to start the filing process. And I do my own taxes, or our own taxes. My uncle used to do them for us, but then he retired and he fired us. So now I do them myself. But it's actually pretty simple, and the only thing that just drives me crazy is the state taxes. And I feel like every year I make like some little mistake, and then they email me back being like, actually you owe this, or actually it was this. And I'm just like, if you know that, why don't you just tell me when I file? Because then I would pay the right amount in the first place. And that actually drives me crazy, but nothing I can do about that except for work within the system. And yeah, so that is it for finances. I will be working on my taxes in April, obviously, so that they are not late. And the other thing I will say is I've done a way better job. When I first started my business, it was so hard for me to remember to pay my quarterly taxes, and I definitely like had a bunch of missed ones, but now I've done just such a better job with that, and I don't miss them anymore. So that's great. And I put them on my calendar, like on my Google Calendar, with reminders so that it like buzzes at me if I forget to pay it. Anyway, that is it for the financial category. Not a lot of goals there, and they'll probably be only taxes on for Q2 and then kind of nothing. Just keeping up with our regular monthly tracking, etc. I'm just pulling out some of these sweaters that I don't really wear. So the last category is physical environment, and my code here, or my focus area here, was love our spaces. I love that. Finish the living room makeover, start working on the revamp/renaming of the master calendar, like the maintenance, deep cleaning, decluttering schedule, and to build up and use the daily cleaning routines. So our living room is looking so good. Our furniture is here. We bought all new living room furniture this year. I've worked on like cleaning stuff out, getting the last of the kids stuff out of the living room. They've got their own playroom and their own bedrooms. We also have this little room off to the side, like kind of in between our living room and the kitchen. It's very small, but it's got like a really great view of our backyard. And we turned that into like a little library, reading nook, whatever, display cabinets. And I love that room. That room's all done. I do have to do like the final styling on the shelves. And I do really want to roll over like all of our family photos and order more photos and kind of like swap through some of that stuff. That piece I haven't done. I definitely need to, because I've put that on my like weekly actions multiple times and just not done it. So I should just go through and order some photos and like swap over our frames and like figure that piece out. The living room is almost done. Final styling still needs to be done. Maybe some like pillows and other decorative pieces. But the biggest thing, the biggest thing is that we bought new art for our living room and we're waiting for it. So I don't want to kind of do the final styling or like commit to new pillows until I get the art pieces in. and see the colors in person. I'm so excited. So if you know Tori, who works for Erin Condren, or who used to work for Erin Condren, I'm actually not sure about that, and she is real active in like the community and the planner community as well. I'll put her Instagram name across the screen. It's like @Storybrooke, and she is an amazing artist. She's such an incredible painter, and I saw that she had been selling some pieces, and I just got to talking with her, and we ended up having her like commissioning her to paint some custom pieces for our living room, and I'm so excited to see them. So she's already sent me like pictures. She's actually finished them, but they're getting framed, and then they're going to be here. They'll be here hopefully next month. And yeah, I'm just really excited for this. So we had her paint like a big one for over our fireplace, and then like a 3-panel piece for behind our couch. So really excited for that. And that's kind of the last piece of the living room, plus the final styling. We've moved around some other pieces of art that we had in the house to kind of accommodate that. I'm just trying to decide how I want my shirts like ordered. This is my favorite shirt. I wear this all summer long with the lemons. It's just like, and I've had it forever, and I try and treat it really nicely because it's my favorite. Anyway, I just thought I would share that with you. This is like a shirt which I always like try and make work, but I actually can never wear because I never figure out how I want to wear it. So I'm going to get rid of that. This one looks like it got messed up in the wash. I'm going to get rid of that too. On the daily cleaning routine, so unrelated to the living room, on the daily cleaning routine, we've done a really good job with this year. I actually feel like we've been really on top of the house, and the kids are really getting better about like pitching in with picking up their own stuff and like that, which is really obviously very helpful to that process. And like taking, especially my older two, like taking more of a like complete management role in their taking care of their rooms, and like, you know, where I'm not having to do nearly as much as I was with that, and they can kind of care for their own spaces, which is great. And then we have a weekly cleaning service, so they don't like have to, so we're not talking about like vacuuming or anything like that. I mean like putting their clothes away, putting their toys away, making sure their countertops are like clear, all that kind of stuff. And then the last one was the work on the renaming of the master calendar and the maintenance calendar, all of that stuff. So I have started on that. It's not done yet. That's like kind of that last piece that I've been building in Notion. I've made some really good progress on that lately though. It's definitely not finished yet, especially around like some of the regular, not necessarily maintenance, but like the deep cleaning thing. I definitely want to spend some time kind of working on that. But yeah, that's been helpful. Hopefully it will be more helpful once it's finished. But I have been working on that. And so that is started, but that'll definitely be on for Q2 because I don't think I'm going to finish that by the end of this week. Ugh. But it's basically like we've got this list. I built it out in Notion. It's going to be called the Home Hub. I really just didn't like that, the master calendar. So it's called the Home Hub. And my overall Notion is called the Blueprint, which I really love. I thought that was very clever of me, if I do say so myself. But so basically I just took we've got like a list of all of the service providers, and then like a list of when they're due for their next appointment, when was their last appointment, and then like for ones like plumbers or stuff where you just are calling them if there's an emergency. We're just kind of, you know, I have all of that information in one database. That way, if I'm ever like, oh, we need a plumber, I can look it up. Or, oh, we need an electrician, here's who we used last time, kind of stuff like that. All right, so these are both pants that I wear a lot and I've worn very recently. I don't need to like try them on or anything. I actually think all of these are good. Last year I did like I swear 20 pairs of jeans, and most of them did not fit me. And I did like a big try on all of my jeans last year. So all of these should be good. I'm just checking to see if there's any in here. You know what? There's one pair in here that does fit, but I never wear these. So I'm going to get rid of them. I feel like if you don't specifically tell Stitch Fix to not send you jeans, they always send jeans. Like that's so over-indexed to that, and so then I have a lot because the jeans that they find and that fit are great. Like here's ones that I've never even worn. They still have a tag on them. I always love them, and then I want to keep them, but like how many pairs of jeans do I really need to own? Okay, you know what? Actually, I could probably get rid of these Old Navy ones because I mostly just wear the Stitch Fix ones, and I don't need to keep all of these. And then I have like almost no pants that are not,
I have one pair of pants that's not like jeans or like joggers. So, you know, or leggings. Like I could use some like non-jean pants, except I doubt I would wear them anyways. So maybe not. All right. That is my closet all done. So I'm going to take a short break because I'm out of breath, and also because I think I just did make it through all of my goals, and I think my lunch is going to be here soon. So then after lunch, I can finish up with the shelves and just chat a little bit generally about my intentions and my reflections.
In case you're wondering what I got, I did grab a Pokeball, and then I just grabbed a matcha bubble tea. Not something I would usually order, but the picture of it just looked so delicious on the on the ordering screen, and I just had to give it a try. That's really good. It's a little green tasting. I'm not like a huge matcha person, but yeah, it's pretty good. I'm just gonna eat and watch a little YouTube.
All right, so I am done lunch. It was delicious. And I really just like don't want to do this, but I'm gonna power through and finish up. Both the hanging sections are done. I did the tall hanging very lightly because, again, I recently went through all of that stuff and tried on everything. And I know that what's left there, even though I don't wear it very often, is all like still in good shape. Now we have to just tackle this hot mess of a situation. Maybe even pulling some pieces out to hang up. Just, I don't think I have enough space here for all of my folded clothes. And while we do that, we can kind of just keep going, force myself to finish, drink this bubble tea, which I wish I had gotten like one level less sweet. I got it 50%, which is usually what I do for the brown sugar boba. But next time if I was going to order the matcha, I would definitely go 30%. Anyway, I've also just got my quarterly reflections and my wins and highlights there, so we can just talk about that. Maybe just start with the wins and highlights first. Always good to start on a happy note. I'm just going to pull things down and pile them up into like different things, like nicer sweatpants and less nice sweatpants and things like that. Anyway, because that's a category that I need to have. My biggest win of the year, I think so far, has just been like the Notion dashboard. Maybe that sounds weird, but I'm so obsessed with Notion right now, and I'm so obsessed with what I built on Notion. I really need to film and share that with you, even though I was like trying to wait until it was like 100% done. But then maybe it's one of those things that's never really 100% done. Yeah, that just like building out all of the trackers and tools, all of that feels like such a big win. I feel like I have such a good set of digital tools to kind of last me the whole year and beyond, stuff that I spent a lot of time building that's been working super well. And yeah, it's been like kind of saving me time day to day, month to month, even though it definitely took hours and hours and hours. Like the Notion dashboard, I definitely spent like a lot of time building, and even some of that like creative, like making these custom washies in Canva and like having it so that the spreads look really nice and stuff in Notion. It's very much like bullet journaling mixed with Canva. That's kind of how I would describe it. So it's just like bullet journal spread, but using Canva to create and Notion to create that rather than drawing it yourself. Tilt you down a little so you can see my piles in case that's something that you're interested in. Other than that, I feel like all of the travel stuff, not necessarily like obviously anytime we go on a vacation, I do feel like that's automatically becomes something for a win or a highlight more than a win. But just overall, I feel like on the win side, just the way we've handled travel, the way we've decided to commit to traveling and make that more of a priority this year, that actually feels like a win and something that we're really, really enjoying a lot. So that I'm definitely really happy with. The kids' birthday celebrations, I really didn't want to do it. I spoke about that. I was just like, it's so much work. And yeah, it is. But, you know, I'm really happy with how all of that turned out. And then likewise, I think I felt like a bit guilty because the kids got like no birthday last year. I was so busy at work and I was traveling for work, and then we decided that only one party for like all of them, just the family party, was all that we could manage. And then we ended up having to cancel that because the kids were sick. Like 2 out of 3 of them had the stomach bug. So we ended up having to cancel the party, and we never rescheduled it. And we just kind of eventually let it go. And I definitely had some very serious mom guilt about that. I have so many white t-shirts, but it's almost the season to wear them. I I call them like teacher jumpsuits. Teacher jumpsuits, they're so cute, and I honestly get more compliments on them than like anything else. They're just like these little pants rompers, like I don't know, solid colors. I got them on Amazon. They've got pockets, and I just wear them with like a white t-shirt. They're so comfy, they're so easy, and that is definitely like a favorite spring look of mine. But I usually wear a white t-shirt under them. And then the other thing that I'm really happy with how it went is like my first work project. I just feel really proud of how that project went, but also I feel really like proud of how it didn't completely take over my life and cause all kinds of chaos and stuff while it was going on. We got sweatshirt crumpled up into a ball here. I actually love this sweatshirt. Most of my clothes that aren't just like sweatpants, leggings, or t-shirts or like exercise clothes, most of my clothes are from Stitch Fix. I hate shopping for myself, and I use like on and off with Stitch Fix. I don't get one like every month. I just like push it back, and then I'll basically get like a bunch in a row and use that to do shopping for a season. And then when I feel like I have enough clothes, I'll pause it and wait till the next season starts. So that's really it for my wins and highlights, at least that I can remember. I'm sure that there is more stuff, but like I said before, I did a really bad job with doing weekly reflections, so I don't have a lot of that stuff handy, and I don't feel like pulling it out through my planner. So hopefully we can do like a little bit better of a job in Q2, but I'm not going to stress about it. In terms of my intentions, we've got the quarterly reflections sheet from the workbook, and it's just got some questions to, this is reflections to just kind of answer on the quarter. The first one is about like major milestones. So that kind of goes with some of the wins and highlights, but I put the tool building stuff for that one. Again, that just feels like it was a lot of work, but it was well worth the work, and it feels like a huge accomplishment. And then on how have my priorities shifted and what adjustments are needed to realign with my vision. And I think this one, I'm not sure about the realigning with my vision, but I was so focused on like journaling and reflections at the end of the year, and I've not really been feeling that lately. I've been working on a ton of creative projects, like some creative writing and a lot of like art, doodling, not painting, but like doing paint marker stuff. Some kids crafts too, like crafting. I've just been really into that lately. And to me, that kind of like, I don't know, it sort of satisfies the same thing. It's not exactly one-to-one, but it is like fairly close. And yeah, I think that I'm really happy with that. This is my large collection of sweatshirts. These are hoodie sweatshirts. I've been so into the crew necks this year though. All right, so that is all that. All my crew necks are up here. I bought so many Eagles ones before/after the Super Bowl, and I got a bunch from TikTok as well. This one I got from TikTok, and it was made by like someone local, like one county over from me. She was like screen printing them in her house. I thought that was really cool. So I bought a couple things from her. Some TikTok shop, some of it is definitely like just drop shipping stuff, but some of it's basically Etsy but with videos. So it's kind of fun to like look for things. All right, I really like this one. I feel like it's kind of messed up. It's got some like kind of gross grease stains on it. I should probably just get rid of it because am I really going to wear it out of the house? And I have a million of these. All right, I don't like that one anymore. I'm just throwing the ones that I'm not going to wear over there. Just, you know what? I can always get more. If I haven't worn that one I like. If I haven't worn it like all season, am I really going to wear it? You know, I'll come back to the sweaters because that I have to just like, figure out a situation for. This is the Eagles one that I bought from Rally House. So this one was like $80, and then all of the other ones that I bought combined were like $80. So I have 4 $20 ones and then one that was comically expensive. Oh, but in terms of like journaling and the creative stuff, I've just been trying to follow the energy and just trying to make that my philosophy. And we'll see. Like I said, I do wish I had done a little bit more with at least like the memory keeping style journaling, and then also like a little bit better with reflections. But in general, if it's not something that I'm feeling right now and I still feel like I'm doing really well, I don't necessarily want to like force myself to spend all of this time doing that when, again, I feel like I'm doing pretty well. And then the next one was just around like habits, tools, routines. And I just wrote about how like helpful the screen locks have been. Yeah, I feel like I should have better discipline than that, but apparently I don't. And a little tool to like trick myself. I definitely can appreciate that thing has been so worth it. And again, it's a free app. The next one is about just like challenges, and I've had like a lot of kid frustrations lately. This was definitely not the whole quarter. I do feel like it's been building. I think some of it will resolve kind of naturally now that the weather is nicer and the kids can go up outside again a lot more. I just think there's definitely something to be said for a long winter, everybody cooped up inside. It doesn't matter how many toys they have, how many crafts, how many activities. I just swear if they can't be outside, they're just, everything is boring. Everything's boring. We don't have anything to do. Like entertain me. And I am done. I'm so happy to send the kids back outside. All right. So that's all the sweatshirts and stuff, except for that I know I have some smushed in there because I know that I have some that are like part of sets, and I don't know. I should probably store sets together because I typically wear them together. So the next question is about how have I nurtured physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Been going to exercise classes. Again, I haven't been as consistent as I would like, but when I do go, I really like it. And I'm doing better than I was with that. I did just realize the other day when I was going through my provider list that my OBGYN office actually closed after the last time I was there. Like literally 2 weeks after the last time I was there, it closed. But I'm pretty sure I found out where my doctor moves because I do actually really like her. So now when I am ready for my next appointment, which isn't for a couple of months out from now, I need to just kind of figure that out. And then I would also like to tackle the never-ending project that is finding a regular primary care doctor that I don't absolutely hate. It takes forever because I'm only going to go to one well check per year and I never find one that I like and I just never go back to the same doctor. So we'll try again this year. I don't know why that's so hard. That doctor in particular, a primary care physician, I seem to just have a lot of problems finding someone that I like don't completely hate. So I do think that I've done okay on that, but definitely an area where I'm still hoping to improve for the coming year. I have 7 million pairs of exercise shorts. We need to sort these. Maybe I should just make a pile too of stuff that like I just want to leave at my mom's house and just like leave there forever. We have our own rooms there. Like it's not taking up space in her house. Like my husband and I have our own bedroom there because it's a family beach house. In addition to being my mom lives there full time since like COVID, she moved there full time. Anyway, I have this really cute MakseLife t-shirt. So the next question here was what new insights or learnings have I gained and how can they inform my future? And I just wrote in that to follow my energy, to follow the energy, like not force things. Obviously there are some things that you just absolutely do have to force yourself, or at least force yourself to start like this. But I think that is like been working pretty well, just kind of following the energy, trying to strategize when I'm going to work on what project. How have I practiced self-care and what activities have been the most beneficial? And then I just wrote like all the creative stuff. Yeah, I've just been feeling really creative lately and that's a nice feeling. And I feel like I'm working on all kinds of different things, like different hobbies and like crafts and stuff that I haven't done in years. We've been doing some card making and I've been doing that with the kids, which has been really fun. All kinds of different stuff. And under what goals did I not meet? What can I learn from the experience? I think the biggest goals that I didn't meet were journaling. And again, I'm still like working on what the best situation for that is going to be. This one, it's going to be a combination of pushing myself a little bit, but also kind of just redefining what my goal is, because obviously what I was originally intending is just not going to work for me. And then the other piece is, again, just on the exercise classes. And this is one where I do think I would like to push myself a little bit harder. One thing that I'm going to say for April is I want to work off like a significant chunk of my extra ClassPass credits. So you pay your monthly subscription fee and I get 33 credits a month, and then you can roll over 33 credits per month. I had a really long period where I just didn't go to classes at all and I did not pause or cancel my subscription. So I came back in with 66 credits and then I use some every month, but I always have some not able to roll over. And so I lose some credits at the end of the month, even though I'm going to classes. And I've come close a couple of times, but then I end up still resetting to that like 66 most months because of that. So I would like to work at least some of that off in April. And I think by the summer, I can be back where I'm like not losing any credits at all, or maybe even more aggressive than that. And then the next question is, how have I extended support or sought support from my network, and what impact does that have? There's not like a lot of space to write on these, so I just kind of like jotted down a couple of notes, and now I'm just more chatting through it, which I think is a fine style of reflections. But I wrote, obviously my husband, he is like very much a full partner, especially in like kid stuff, house stuff, finances, like I said. So he's been super, super helpful as always. We also started asking for a little bit more support from our school for one of my kids who we felt like needed some extra help, and the school has been incredibly responsive and just so wonderful with that. We were also able to like utilize our pediatrician and just like different service providers in our community to help get that kid a little bit of extra support. And I feel like that's been so helpful, and it's really, really been like wonderful for her, but also wonderful for the family. And first of all, I just feel so grateful to the school, because I feel like they are really just doing like everything they can, which is so wonderful. So yeah, and it feels good to get help on something where you feel like you need help on something, like to ask for it and actually receive that help. And it's not like a whole big complicated thing, and you're just getting the help you need. So the last thing on here is just looking ahead, what key focus areas for the next quarter. And I think one of my big focuses is going to be like the end of the school year, obviously getting summer ready. So we've got April, May, June. It's obviously not going to be a huge priority for April, but in general, that end of the school year sneaks up. We've got an overnight camp summer to pack for. We've got vacations, we got the kids stuff, like getting the other kids ready for day camp, making sure we've got like clothes for everybody, all of that, but also like, just supporting the kids through the end of the school year and getting everything ready so that we can have like a nice relaxing summer. So that's going to be a pretty big focus. Maybe trying to find like some balance in the creativity and the journaling, and trying to figure that out a little bit more. And then also most definitely, working on the like exercise routine and the ClassPass stuff and all of that. And that is it for this reflections sheet. I'm going to like digest all of that information before I work on my quarterly goals. But first, before I do that, what I'm actually going to do is power through the rest of this and like speed through it. So this is done. The only thing other than these piles that I need to do, I want to reorganize my shoes as well, but I'm just going to speed through this. All right, all done and cleaned up. Let me give you a last walkthrough. I do have 2 full bags of donation plus like a half bag of trash. So we're coming in here. We got the mirror, and we've got my tall hanging, lightly sorted, long hanging, very sorted, my shelves reorganized, and my shoes. And then spinning around to my husband's side where things are all organized and refolded. And that bench is all clear. We still have the walking pad there, but I'm going to leave that there because the point is to take it out and walk. And I can move it myself. I cannot take it up and down the stairs myself. So that is my closet all done. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there because I know that this is going to be so long. I was so chatty while I was cleaning the closet. So I am going to do this as just the reflections video, and then next up I will have my Q2 goals and my April goals, and I'll put those together up soon as well. I'm gonna work on that maybe a little this afternoon, otherwise tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed cleaning my closet with me. Very motivating to have you along the way and hearing my Q1 reflections. How are you feeling going into the new quarter? Do you feel like you're making progress on your annual goals? Do you have any new big goals that you're going to be adding this year? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and check me out on Instagram and TikTok at MyCraftyPlants for even more planner fun. Bye!